Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Lydia with Raindrop Lila, and today I have a project I want to share with you guys, and I hope you guys will join me and make some of these too. The past couple of weeks or the past month or so, I've been working on 2 pastel style journals, and in that journal I have I use some of these printables to make a like a really pretty focal point, and I'm just showing you guys the pictures of what they look like. I'm going to just do a little craft with me and kind of take you guys along. Okay, so I pulled out, I don't know if these are going to work, but I pulled out some leaves too. And so we can probably use the leaves as flowers, maybe. We'll see. I'm not really sure which direction I'm going into, but I'm just going to show you guys some of the flowers that I picked. I picked these. I like these because these look old. I got these from a vintage or an antique shop. And then I have some of this vintage ribbon that maybe I can use. I have this for texture. So we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with. I just know that I want to use some of these. I'm going to use some of these flowers. I pull these out. I think the smaller ones will work better. And then I also have some of these paper ones. And I think these are really pretty. And these might work really well also. Okay, so I encourage you to go and see what type of flowers you have. And then we can make that work. I also have some of these. Okay, and then let's see what else. So we just want to add some floral embellishments. And I also have some of these. Okay, so we will see. I'm not quite sure which direction I'm going to go into. And I don't want it to be too long, because if you actually along my true process, it might take longer. Because that's just part of the design. You know, you try things out and then you might go into a different direction. But I like to cut some of that part out so that it's not too long for you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to give kind of the steps. First step, I pulled out my flowers. I pulled out my printable. This is the main printable that I'm using. It's the Fairy Jewels. Okay, and this is what is included. I have these two. This is printed on a premium paper, like a cardstock. And then this is printed on an invitation type of paper. They're both cardstock, right? This one has a little bit more weight to it than this one. But they're both, I like that they have a little bit of weight to them. This has that shimmer, which I love, but I think they're both really pretty. So that's what I'm starting with. I also printed a bunch of printables, and I'll show those to you guys in a second. I also pulled out some book pages. I have some embossed brown paper. I also have, so when I start a project, I always pull out like everything. Okay, I also printed them smaller because, you know, I might want to make some smaller ones. So basically what I did was I chose to print 2 of these per page, right? So that's how I ended up with a smaller one. Then I have some different pieces of paper that I have already embossed. And this is really great for layering. I have some just like cardboard. And then I have some card. This is the type of, I think this is what they separate like wine bottles or olive oil bottles like at stores. And so sometimes if they pull them to stock the shelves and they're there, I will grab some if they're going to recycle them. Okay. And then I have some like dictionary pages in different sizes. And then I have a book because this one has wider pages than this. So you can see the difference in the coloring. I think that's really important when I work with my, when I make ephemera. I love to kind of look at the colors, and I love both, but certain colors, sometimes I need more contrast and something like just more muted, and sometimes I need something more vintage or darker. So that's why I have both. Then I have these. They're like coupons. Then I have some vintage ledger. Then I have just some music sheets, right? And then some more dictionary page. So I just grabbed a bunch of different pieces so that it makes the process easier when I go and work on these. Okay, and let's see. And you can see when I created these, there's a lot of layering going on underneath the main page, underneath the main piece. Okay, so I was also going to show you guys some of the printables that I'm going to be using. And I actually printed them out to make it easier. So I'm going to use some of my rose red and evergreen patterns. I have it in the standard and in the tall, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to be tearing pieces and we're going to make it work for our project. I'm using some of Timeless Patterns. I have them again in the tall and in the standard format. Okay, and then I have the Romantic Patterns C124. That's I'm using this one right here. I just love that so much. Or I just printed that one, let's just say. So I printed a bunch of these different kits, and then we'll see what I use. I also printed my Little Blessing, some of these, because I thought they would go really pretty with this blue. Okay. And then I also printed, okay, I didn't print the antique card kit, but I did print I did the labels and the typography, and also did I do the documents? I think the documents, and then I have the French and Antique. I think instead of this one, I printed a file folder. Okay, so we'll get to that. And if you guys want to find these in my Etsy shop, I will link them all below. So you have that ready for you guys. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing that I do is I'm going to cut these out. I'm going to cut them all out. And then I'm going to glue them down to some of this card. And some of this board. Okay, so this is almost like a lightweight chipboard. It's pretty sturdy. I love how sturdy it is. And so is this. This is pretty sturdy. You can see I tore some of it. I used parts of it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start with. Okay, so I have all these cut out now, and next thing I want to do is I want to choose which ones I'm going to work with and maybe which pages I'm going to use them on. Okay, so let's see. I also pulled out a bunch of different laces and fabrics, so I have these pieces here also. A lot of these pieces were part of my textile journal maker kits, and this is just some of the pieces that I saved for myself. And I also have some sari ribbon, and I was going to also show you guys the different papers. So basically what I like to do is the next step would be to glue them down to the card and then cut them out again. Okay. I think I'm going to use this, and it doesn't matter that there's marks on here. This is from one of those big piece of cardboard pieces that they cover palettes with, and that's what I am using and reusing or saving. Okay, I'm using Fabri-Tac. This is, oops. I'm using Fabri-Tac. This is my favorite glue. This is a great project for if you wanted to do this as a mass make. This is a great project. This is a great project if you want to do this project as a mass make and just make multiple. These are also, they're really great as journal toppers because they're so pretty and they have such a, they're a great focal point. And they can also work really well to clip them into a journal. That's how I've used them. I actually used them for both. I've used them for covers of a journal and also for clipping them inside, like inside the cover page. Maybe I'll use this one on here. Isn't this pretty? Oh my gosh, I love that. That's really great for Christmas because it's green. Let's see. I think I'm going to try to arrange them to kind of maximize my cardboard here. I think I have just one left without. Let's see. Actually, this can go here. This can go here. I have two left. Oh, I like that one too. I want to do this one too. So I have two left, but that's okay. I'll find more. I'm sure I have some nearby. Okay, now this, you can tell it's not straight, but that doesn't bother me because I like to work with my pieces and I like to make them work for me and for what I'm doing. So, plus I think that when things are a little bit bent up, out of shape, I think it gives it character. So it doesn't bother me at all. I think I can use this piece here. Let's see. Yeah, that'll fit. Just so I maximize what I'm using. Okay. Then I have these two. Okay, I glued them all down to card. And you can use cardstock too if you want. Now I'm going to cut everything out again. For these ones, I left just a little bit of a border and I'm going to cut it out and then I will ink the edge, or at least just for that one. So this one will be just a little bit different, but I don't think it's that big of a difference. You know what I realized? These ones that are thicker, these would be really pretty ornaments or like gift tags for a gift, especially with Christmas coming. These would make really, really pretty like gift tags. So basically, you have the image on the front and then on the back you can write a message or to and from. So yeah, I think that would be really pretty. Okay, so my next step now is, okay, so I cut everything out and now my next step is to, I want to see how I want to layer them. I think I like to just set them on a neutral background so I can see the colors that they, some, like this one has like bits of pale, like a pale green. This one has like a tint of almost like a lavender, but it's like an undertone. So it's very faint, but if I look at the colors, this has like a little bit of a peachy pink to it. If I look at the colors, I can kind of pick which flowers will look best with them. So if I wanted to do like the leaves, like fall leaves, maybe something like this would be good. So I'm trying to kind of figure out which ones, like I think these will go good with the fall one, maybe. So, let's see. I kind of like this whole piece as it is. Okay, so this was a piece of, just a piece of craft paper, but it's a little bit thicker. It's not as heavy as what I use for these, for the backing. It's not as heavy, but it's heavier than a paper bag, right? It's just a little bit of a different weight. And I love working with all the different weights. And I actually love that this one is kind of torn like this. I think it adds so much character to it. So I'm trying to figure out how do I want to use it. That kind of is pretty. So I want to just go with the natural look of it. Just work with it. I think that's really pretty. Okay, so I think I'll do that. Let's see. I like this one too. I think I like the blue with that. I think this is pretty too. But I wanted to use these maybe. So I could do the, they're like a dark pink rose, or I can do this. But I kind of want to do this, I think. Okay, so if I do this one, or should I do this one instead? That's really pretty too. Look at that contrast. Isn't that beautiful? I kind of like this a lot. So in my last make, when I worked with these, what I did was I took the flowers and I added glue on the bottom and I glue them down. So if you have flowers with stems, that's how you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to glue them down like that. But then I also sewed the stems in place. So I sewed all around it. And then I took my ribbon and I wove it down and kind of through the flowers. And I sewed it down. Now, these are different flowers, so I think I'm going to have to change my method and do it a little bit different. So that's why I wanted to kind of go over that. Okay, now I want to kind of pick, I'm going to set this aside. I'm not going to do that one yet. I want to try to focus on just one. Okay, so that it's not too complicated. So I'm thinking, should I go with this one? This is really pretty. And so this is why I love to print multiple pieces out, because then I might want to come here and try and see which ones would look good together. This looks really good together right here, right? And I think this one will probably look really good too, actually. I like that better though. But I think this will be good contrast too. See that? So maybe this is what we're going to do. We don't need a lot, but I have a bunch. Oh my gosh. Because I was thinking to work on all the different ones. I have just plain also, and I have this one. This one has some red through it. And so there's this one. I think I'll test those two. And then I have this. Oh, you know what? I didn't share. These are from Cornelia's garden, and I forgot to share those. I'll link them below, though. And then I have just a blank one. And then I have this. Maybe I'll use that later. We'll see. And then, oh, here's my file folder. I thought it might be cool to layer this over the folder, right? We'll see. And then I have some blue ones. And I thought that this might work really well with the blue. See that? Let's see how this looks. I like this because of the gold picks up from the craft paper. That looks pretty. Ooh, this looks really pretty too. Even go like that. And then I have this one too. That looks so good together, the colors. That's so pretty. Or this. Okay, we can do this. Well, I'm going to put these aside because I'll deal with that one later, hopefully. I just want to do probably this one. Okay. So when I work on a project, I print out everything that I think will go good with it, and then I lay them out to see how I like it. And then I can narrow them down and choose which ones I want to go with. This looks good too. I don't know. Okay, and then I have this one. I like this too. Oh, that looks so pretty. Doesn't that look good? Oh my goodness. I love that too. But I don't know which ones to go with yet. Okay, so what I think I need some book pages now. So I'm going to grab a couple. And it's okay for them to be all torn up because I'm going for that. And then maybe one of these. I think I want more print because we're not going to see the whole page, probably. Maybe that one. And then maybe music sheet. I don't know what the music sheets are about. Sometimes I worry that the words will be weird. So, or, you know, they might not fit my theme, but I can go like this and tear the words off. Or if I use it, I don't know. I think that I'll just use maybe that one, like When You're Ugly Like Us. That's not a nice, yeah. Remember Me sounds nice. I don't know what the words are, but yeah, they could put me in jail. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what these music sheets are, but that's okay. We'll just use, like, you know, the good parts. I like this. That looks really good with everything too. See that? Okay, so now let's see what I want to do. And I want to see about lace. Maybe something like netting will be good too. And then I want some lace, maybe some lace. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh my gosh. And then I have this. It's like a silk ribbon, and I just tore it. Okay. And so the thing is, I think this is too wide for the size. Okay, so if something doesn't look right, think about the scale. This is kind of pretty. I like the color. Okay, so I like this so far. I could probably do this. Okay, and then let's see. I like that better. See that? I just folded it up. It's almost like a Z. See that? And so now it folds. You can see the corners are overlapping, and that creates more texture, and I like the way that looks. Okay, let's see where I want this. I just want a hint of the colors and the papers kind of peeking through. I'm now looking at the word. I mean, I like child, that's cute, but she's not a child. I mean, she could be thinking about her child, but I'm going to see if I can find another one, because I think that since it sits out like this, I mean, I like the way it goes like that, and it almost focuses on the word. So I'm thinking since the focus is there, same with bright tempo, I kind of like that. Then I kind of want to work with it and make it a kind of a focal point and make it more meaningful. So I'm going to see if I can find another piece. Maybe that would work. And I want something that is kind of like, I don't know, meaningful. You don't always have to look at the words, but sometimes it's nice. If the focus is right there, then it's nice to have a, look, there's band, but I don't know if I like that. So it's nice to kind of work with it, right? Okay, I'm going to move on because I don't really like what I see. What if I use one of these? Or what if I layer one of the French words? Maybe that'll work better. See, I like what we have so far. What if I use this? Well, you know what I think? I think this would be really pretty if it was, let's see, what if I fold it in 3? Let's see. I know that once I fold it down, it will create a crease and it will break. So, I'm trying to figure out the sizing because I want these to kind of and then this. Okay, I think I want to fold it off, like a little bit off, because I think that will look cool. I should have done that with this one too. I'll have to add some tape to it, but I like that. Doesn't that look cool? Maybe I should add the tape now to reinforce it, or should I add fabric? I love that. That looks so good. Okay, where are my layers? I think I want to remove a little bit from down here. I think I want to ink this up. I don't glue everything down because things can really change, and I'm okay with that because if it's for the better, I'm good with that. Okay, and then I can figure out where I want it. I feel like it needs something because the scale of it, let's go like this so you can see it better. The scale of this right here compared to the page is not, it's not proportionate. So I need something. I can always add something else underneath, like just a bit of paper, or let's see. I can also do fabric, but I can also do maybe some of this. But I feel like that's too much the same with those roses. I can do some of this. I don't know if I'm using it, but I thought I'd ink it up because I turned that part up so I don't see the white. So let's see, I can do this. So I'm just layering pieces at this point. I kind of want to use this, but what if I folded it up a bit? I love the way the color looks with this so far. Okay, so I like this so far. What else can I add? I like this, but let's see. Oops. Oh, this would be a pretty little ruffle, maybe. Let's see. Maybe I will pin it so I can see how that will look. Technically, you can just glue it down when you like something and go with it. But, like, what if I did that instead of this for the ribbon? Or should I sew this on here? I kind of like that too. And then, let's see. I have these. These are like a bright pink, but they're almost red. And then I also have, let's see. I also have these flowers. Now these could be sewed on like this. So I can take them apart and just sew them on there. So should I go with those or these? Oh my goodness. Maybe I'll go with these. And then we can do this. See that I can keep cutting pieces off like this. And then just sewing them on. Or you can glue them on too. But they can be little ribbons. Let's see, do I have another pin? Or you know what? I can actually make the ruffle. I can sew the ruffle on first. Sew it just like this, and then I can glue it down. That might be easier. Now, I have it on here. I think that looks really pretty on here. So see, by adding this little bit right here, it adds more interest and it makes this piece bigger. If that makes sense. Let's see, should I add something more? I'm thinking up there. Let's see, should I use this? Maybe. I love these flowers so much. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to start gluing some of these pieces down, I think. Maybe. I glue these pieces down and I'm trying to kind of figure out my placement for it. Okay? So I think I like this so far. Should I add that there or there? Maybe there. And then I am thinking to add some little ruffles around her. And then maybe some of these roses. Let's see. I can link some of these roses down below, but I think that they also have them at Hobby Lobby. Let's see, is that too much? I feel like that's too much. You know what? I think that I'm going to glue her down now, okay? So I'm going to add some glue right underneath because I want to be able to work with it easier, and I know I like where she's at right now. So I'm okay with finally putting her down or placing her down. Okay? Like right there. And then I'm going to add some glue to this part. And you know what? I didn't add the ribbon. Let's see, is this still too big? Let's make a bow. I feel like it's a little bit thick. We can make it thinner, but I feel like something needs to go right there. Like, I don't know, do I want to use that? I think this is too big. I don't know if I want to use that. Maybe some lace. I'm trying to kind of cut a little bit of a curve out because it gives you a little bit more interest when you have a curve. There's a seam right here, and I want to cut some of it off so it's not too bulky. Okay, I think I like that. Isn't that pretty? Technically speaking, this right here, this can be either a cover to a signature in a journal, like the cover page, or it could be a journal. I'm going to fold it down because I love the contrast with the rest of it. Doesn't that just look so pretty on top? See that? Isn't that pretty? I love the way that looks. Okay, let's arrange it again. Was I not going to use this? I folded this up, but I don't know if I'm going to use it. Oh, I have this here. But I wonder if this would look good too. It's too much the same, so maybe not. Let's see, what else can I do? So I have this. It's all in the layering. I just keep adding more and more layers. And no, I think that's too straight. This would be better on like a side like that, but I don't think this is going to work here. I like this better so far. What else can we do? Kind of like that there, actually, maybe. I pulled out all this blue stuff and I didn't use it. But I like where this is going. Let's see, shall we use this still? I like the sequence on it. I like the sparkly bits. I think that's really pretty. And then, should I use this? What if I do a bow? Let's see. It's not even. Let's do it again. And then, do I want the roses is the question. Or do I want these ones? I don't know why I mean, I love these ones too, but now I feel like I'm leaning more towards these. Or should I go with these cream little flowers? These ones. See that? Should I do that? Okay, so I got my needle and thread, and now I am going to use this. This is like a beige sari silk, and I'm just going to sew it around her, and I'm going to make little ruffles. Okay. Actually, I'm wondering now if I should just make one ruffle. So I'm just sewing it straight through the cardboard and the paper. Then I'm just going to cut this off. Now I'm trying to figure out, what do I want to use a bow? Where do I want to use the bow? I feel like it's a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip it so it's thinner. I want a thinner bow. I feel like the scale is wrong. Okay. So let's try this again. See, it can go down, it can go, I think I like it better up here though, for now. I'm wondering if I want to use these flowers. Okay, what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to tie off the back so that I think I want to change the way my flowers look a little bit. I want to make them look a little bit more unique and alter them just a little bit. So I need to tie off my thread before I move on. I always have to have my visual, so I'm not gluing it down just yet because I still need to, I'm sewing pieces down still. So I'm just working with them like that, kind of loosely. Okay, so now the flowers, we're going to try this out. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but what I'm doing is I'm going to fold it and then just sew. Okay, so I'm going to sew this one down. Let's see, how am I going to do this? So I'm trying to figure out how many do I need. Okay, I'm just going to start with this one and I'm just going to sew it down for now. Okay, so I am folding up the flowers. So I am sewing them up, kind of folded. And then what I want to do is add some of the sari ribbon. I'm going to kind of sew it around the flowers. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to sew a little ruffle with this. I'm going to make a little ruffle with this sari ribbon, and I'm just sewing it. Just sewing a couple stitches. Let's see, maybe I should make the ruffles closer together. You can also glue the ruffle down if you wanted to, so you don't have to sew it. Okay, so I sewed a little ruffle to add up here somewhere. Let's see. Then I have a bow. Then I have the flowers. I want to keep sewing up some of these flowers. I feel like by sewing them, all I'm doing is I'm kind of scrunching up the middle. I feel like when I do that, it just makes them look a little bit better. And they look almost, I feel like it makes them look more like a millinery flower. Okay, so I just sew these flowers up a little bit so that it kind of changes the way they look a little bit. See how I scrunch it up so it doesn't just sit flat like this? See, when it's flat, I don't think it's that cute, but if I scrunch it up a little bit, it adds a lot of dimension. And now I love the way that looks. So we're going to take these flowers and make them look somewhat like vintage millinery flowers. I can't believe they're looking so good. Look at that. So I'm just sewing them on here. I just realized it now as I was sewing. I just realized that they look like millinery flowers, and I am obsessed with them because they're just so pretty and they're actually really hard to find. And so being able to kind of get that look with regular flowers is pretty cool. So I layered these two flowers right here, and what I'm doing is I'm poking the needle through. I poked it through here, and then when I pull it through, it gathers it up a little bit. See that? And I like that better. I like it a lot better than it being just flat like this. It just creates some texture, and I think it's so, so pretty like that. Okay, so I sewed this on here, and then I've been sewing the flowers all around. Some I folded them in half like that, and some I just, I doubled them up like right there. Okay, what else should I do now? Maybe I'll add one here or here, up here. Maybe I can add one here. Should I do a bow? Maybe I'll do a bow up here. We'll see. I think I'm going to go there next. And then maybe I'll fill one in here. Maybe I'll do the small one here. I hope this project doesn't take too long. I really wanted to try it and see if I can challenge myself to do something similar but with different flowers. So I know a lot of you guys wanted to see a craft with me that was similar. And I think that this is really pretty. I'm liking how it's looking. Okay, so what I did was I finished sewing the flowers on there. And then I have this page, and see how where it's folded, it's breaking. So what I did was I used some Amity Bloom washi tape. And I put some on this side too. I need to reinforce that too. But so this is how it's going to look. And now I'm thinking a lot of times when I create something like this, I like the idea of it opening up like this. And then you can have either a pocket or you can have more things inside. But this is so fragile. I'm wondering if I should just glue it together so that it's glued down. And what if I put a tag in here? What if that's a tuck spot? I think that would be really cool. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this. Even though I use the washi tape on the inside, I was thinking I can even add papers so you can open it up and write in it, but I think it's really fragile, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Maybe I will, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that I will add some, let's see, what should I add in here? Maybe I'll glue it down. Maybe I'll just add some paper to kind of reinforce it. Because this is sturdier than this, right? So what if I did that? See? And it's short enough that if I tuck something in and it stops here, I think that'll still be fine because you still have that much. I mean, technically, I can tear some of it off. Okay. But yeah, I think I'm just going to glue this down. And I love the way the way it folds. See that? Now I'm gonna, let's see, I want to add these on here. Okay, so I'm going to add glue. I want to keep them in position, but I'm going to add glue to the lace, to the thick part of the lace. And then just lay it down. And I'm going to do the same here. Okay, and then this goes on top here. Oops. Okay, and then this can go here. And then let's see, what else am I gonna do? I was gonna add the bow either here or it can go up here. I feel like it needs something like on the bow. Okay, so here we have this piece, and I decided to make a little bow and add this heart. I feel like the heart just adds that little extra to it. So now I'm just going to glue this down. But first, before I do that, I'm going to use some of this. This is micro glaze. Let's go like this. My friend Gail actually used this and I had to try it too. So it's really great for, got some tissue here. I just add it to my, my printable and it protects it. So a lot of times, since this is on the cover, this is going to be, I think I'm going to make this into like a little mini journal, like a little notebook type of journal. And so this will be the cover. And so since that's the cover, I'm going to add the glaze to the I love it. It kind of brightens it. And so it just adds like a protective barrier. And so I'm going to add a little bit on here too. Okay. I'll add a link to this in the description box if you want to pick some up. I actually ordered this from Amazon. I couldn't find it at our craft store, so I just ordered it off Amazon. Okay, so now I'm going to use this to kind of protect it. Okay, so now I'm going to finally glue it down so that it's kind of done. So it's kind of like a shabby little bow, and I think it's so pretty. And I'm going to glue this piece down too now. So this is kind of my process. I usually don't glue everything down until the very end because I like to sew things on there. And I do this a lot with my journal covers also. I don't sew them, or I don't put them together until I'm kind of done with most of the journal. And I would love to hear how you guys do this too? Do you guys kind of work on it in pieces and then finally put it all together? So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this craft with me, or kind of just being here and watching my process. I think on the inside I'm just going to cover it up and with some paper and then add some pages. So this will be like a little notebook journal. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.